sounded really cool in the headphones, though.
Hello and welcome to the Carbitrage podcast, episode 143. I am Eric Berger, joined as always by Ryan and Jan.
Hello.
Hello there.
Hi guys.
Hi.
Oh, holidays are kind of the worst.
Not kind of.
Okay, they're literally the worst.
They are literally the worst. I somehow got wrapped into going to every variant of a family event this holiday season.
That
None of them overlap.
Hanukkah and Christmas
Thank you.
overlap this year.
I had to move the camera, so thank you.
Oh, here, I can just move over.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
They were moved for the land party. I just didn't move them back.
Oh, okay.
So we should be fine now.
Cool.
Minty.
Yeah, so I had to get, I've got Jana's holiday thing that does not overlap with my parents' holiday thing. And then...
Are any of them before the actual holiday?
No, not
Okay.
quite.
Well,
No,
that's-
but they're
that's
after, because they just don't know how to quit. Because Hanukkah is now New Year's Day, which means I have to go to Hanukkah, which always runs late, and then I have to go to work the next day.
Oh, no.
And then all of our holidays are Tuesdays and Wednesdays this year. It's a nightmare. It sucks. It totally blows.
Yeah, my family's doing their Christmas tonight. And, like,
What?
the entire
That's
group chat was like,
frustrating.
oh, let's just do it at 3 something. I'm like, I do the podcast today. Like, that ain't happening.
Yeah, no, we're not doing
We'll see.
three.
So I'm going to be extremely late to the Christmas
Good.
thing. And, like, a bunch of stuff didn't show up on time. So I'm just
Perfect.
like, great. This is really swell.
I'm just... I put in less and less effort every year.
I try to, but it's
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah.
Anywho, what are you drinking?
I have a Pilsner Urquell, which is a Czech Pilsner, and it's actually the original Pilsner. This is it's from Plzeň, Plzeň, Czech. Yeah. It being Czech, it doesn't have
Very few vowels.
yeah, it's constant
the
to vowel
opposite of
ratio is way
Welsh.
off. Yeah, no, where Welsh is just vowels.
Aim this towards your face.
I
Yeah.
was aiming it away because I was going to try to take a quiz, but it's locked, so...
I gotcha.
I have a friend whose last name is Kursek and it is spelled Krsek, which is exactly how many vowels Plzeň has. Yeah, one.
Cuck is fucking talking.
This is a gift from a customer from my day job. He is a Polish reconstructive surgeon who has a collection of old Volkswagens that my shop has restored for him.
A gift.
Yes,
Yes.
I did.
Thank you.
So,
While you're opening that,
gonna cry.
I am drinking something you guys actually left here on the land party night, which is the Great Northern Porter from Summit.
I was gonna
of
drink
all
that.
places.
I was gonna drink that next episode. How is it?
So far, so good.
Is it-
I'm only 4 sips in because I had a Liney's when I got here.
Yeah.
I'm like, I gotta have something to tide me over until the podcast.
Summit's notoriously shitty as a beer.
In your opinion,
Yeah, but
yes.
I had
I don't know why your
coupon
microphone's so
from-
quiet today.
It's 'cause
Yeah, I'm talking really loud today, too. I
turn
had
up the
a
key.
coupon from Lund's for cheap Summit, and I was like, okay, I'm going to use this coupon.
Fair enough.
And I got another coupon
That's
for
so
Summit
good.
that I have to...
Coupon.
Coupon.
Coupon? A
Which
coupon?
my dad really likes Summit, so I should probably get him some.
So does my dad.
'Cause
He
it's
loves
like
EPA.
$10.99.
I do have to say that this is,
Minty?
without a doubt, the best Pilsner I've ever had.
I'm excited. We'll be switching roles next episode,
yeah.
I guess. So.
They've been brewing it since 1842, so they must be doing something right.
Oh yeah, that's longer than there have been cars.
That's 180
That's
years.
very pre-war.
Yeah, that's extremely. I have a pre-war beer for my episode involving no pre-war cars.
Oh, excellent.
Oh,
So,
darn it. I
there you
missed
go.
the Summit beer coupon again. But
Oh
that's
no.
fine.
So,
I
Anywho,
redeemed it once. It's
Moving on to
Patreon.
Patreon.
Yes.
Head on over to patreon.com/Carbitrage. You can check out our 2 fairly open-ended levels of support. And I actually want to directly plug our newest patron from 2 days ago, Ryan Rask. I know he's
Yeah.
been a long-time listener of the show, and he's actually been on once or twice
Thank
before.
you, Ryan. Yes,
So
yes.
we're glad you enjoy listening to us while you are going
He's our-
across the country.
he's
in
our
your-
token
in your
trucker.
truck.
Our
Yes.
token trucker.
But anyway, thank you very much. We certainly do appreciate it, and cheers.
Yes. And was this his topic?
No,
Okay, I was saying, 'cause
No, he
this is a
didn't.
really
This
good
is-
topic, and I had to think about this a lot.
I filled this out like 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
So.
what is this?
So, the Patreon topic that we're starting with is what cars have the ugliest and the best looking third brake lights? So, in 1984 and 1985,
Is actually 86 that they
You're right.
that they
Yep.
mandated it because the 85 MR2 did not have one.
true, then you're right, the E30 started in 86 as well. So,
Yes.
in 86 in the USA, a lot of car manufacturers were, actually all of them were forced to start adding a third brake light.
and they took him by surprise, much like emissions did in 10 years prior.
Right, and those crash bumpers.
Yes, and these surprise and pedestrian safety back in like 2010, like all these things just happened and totally like screwed everything
Backup
up.
cameras where they started sticking those in the back of cars.
All right,
but
to be fair, giving backup cameras a thing. I think that the like tacked on backup camera on the
Mirage?
Yes, that's one of my favorite things because it's a very Japanese looking, just like add-on feature. Like, look at this thing I have now.
remember like banks in the early 90s with their closed circuit like weatherproof container enclosures
Yes.
for the cameras? It looks like a miniature version of
It
one of
does.
those on the
It's
back
wonderful.
Of the Mirage. Scott said we should plug Ryan Rask's NC Miata, and actually, yeah, we should mention it. He is an over-the-road trucker by trade, but he and his wife Haley have a NC
Okay.
Club
That's
retractable
very
hardtop.
cool.
It's a
Oh, wow.
very rare
I've
Miata.
seen one in my life and it's driven.
retractable hardtop.
Yeah, I've seen one in my entire life and was driven by a very old lady in Uptown.
Yeah, they
And
got this
she
one
had-
out of somewhere in Wisconsin.
Yeah, this lady lived in Uptown and she drove a NC Club Edition, like with the factory roll bar in it. And I know she wasn't just like kind of old looking because she walked into like my shop once to get some air put in her tires, and she drove it all year long. And she was like hunched over, like
Oh, you mean
Like-
not Good Karma? You mean the
No,
BP
that
off
BP,
by
yeah. But
Dave
like
Matthews guy.
she was like between if she was a boomer, she'd be like the very first one.
The greatest boomer iteration.
Yeah, she's like kind of like that kind of cusp. It's like being a millennial born in 1981, where you're technically, but really you're more of a Gen X. So
Gross.
yeah.
Anyway, that's a super rad car, so
yes, it is.
fair enough. Moving on back to the topic. So yeah, 86 was the first US-based model where they had to start retrofitting these things, and a lot of companies didn't execute it all that well.
Yes, they
but
did not.
that doesn't necessarily matter because this is a double-sided topic. So we have to pick independently what our favorite and least favorite applications of the third brake light in general have been in the United States. And kind of what I want to start with is any 1986 model car that existed prior to 1986 and the 1987 BMW E30 convertible.
That one
First
was
year of the
very
convertible.
bad.
I don't know what the hell happened, but this was the convertible one, 87 to 93. But only 1 year did they have this disgusting atrocity.
Have you seen the R107?
Yeah.
That one,
That- oh.
that one is arguably worse because
What about the 964 convertible Porsche convertible?
where they just like stuck it like way up in the air.
No, it's like
Yeah.
a vacuum cleaner attachment with a red.
Oh, I
lens
know
on
what
the
you're
back
talking
of it.
about.
Yeah.
But at least that one, like, it followed the body lines. Like on the R107, like the
Yeah.
R107 third brake light would make sense inside the back window of like a C230 compressor.
That's probably where they got
And
it.
it made no sense inside of, like, on the outside of this, like, very boxy, obviously 1970s design. And then, like, on this, like, 1970s design, they have this, like, super rounded, like, 90s looking, like,
we talk
third
about-
brake light. And they put it dead center on the trunk. Like, just the worst
Poor
possible place.
R107 dealt with crash bumpers, emissions, and this
yes.
damn third brake light.
And you know what? I'm not going to lie. It took that really well because there were so many cars that had to deal with all that trash.
Yeah.
And they did a lot less gracefully. And that car really just kind of took it in stride.
yeah, it did. I mean, it was never a terrible looking car.
No,
it
but I mean,
definitely
like-
got worse looking over time.
But I mean, like, if you look at like an 89, 89 R107. No, actually, maybe not the 89. Let's go with the 86 because 86 is like right at the peak of like everything going wrong.
also
for it.
the
And
first
actually,
year of the 560.
it got a little bit. It got a little bit better later on because they did like a update, like a last year, couple of year update in 88, 89. But if you look at that versus like how like the Jaguar E-Type handled it, like the R107 really took it in stride.
Yeah.
Because like you could still put all the Euro stuff on, whereas the Jaguar like completely changed the structure of the vehicle. So
Because
at
it
least-
didn't have any structure before.
no, it didn't. So, yeah, like the R107, like they did a really good job, like making it be reversible. Like they knew they were gonna have to ruin it from the factory.
Right. It's what's a good example of like a compliance thing that car manufacturers like fine we'll do it, but they made it super easy to reverse.
You have the speed governor on Suzuki K cars, and then
Okay.
you have the American crash bumper on the Countach.
Okay.
So, where, like the K car speed governor was a separate wire outside the wiring harness that had a two-pronged little tab that says speed governor, and the prong was like the perfect size to put a scissor through. It was really
Did it
weird.
say do not cut?
Yeah, do not cut, speed governor. So here, before we get to the best cars, I want to talk about my worst one.
Sure.
Because my worst one, actually, I'm not going to take the low-hanging fruit. Because I thought about doing the R107. But I'm like,
Okay.
no, there has to be something worse than this. And I thought about it, I'm like, I want something that isn't the worst just aesthetically, but the worst because they could have done better. And this one goes to the 2000 to 2005 Cadillac DTS.
So the DTS, it's integrated into the trunk lid, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's LED that doesn't work all the time.
Right.
They go out constantly, more commonly than I've seen like normal incandescent bulbs go
I
out.
love it when you see a car that has a mix of LED and incandescent brake lights,
Yeah.
and the LED is always gone.
Always gone.
first.
Yeah. But I want to point this car out because this car came out 15 years after they mandated this, and they still couldn't find a way to integrate it reliably and in an aesthetically pleasing way. Because if you want to bring, just like type in like 2003 Cadillac DTS, and you understand what I'm talking about. It is.
I think that model only ran for one body style. So
Yeah, it did. But it was one of those just really questionable designs. Because actually, I think they do still make in the 2011s. So
Oh, you're
you have to look up like 2003.
God, that's an ugly car.
They are all terrible. The 2003 was especially bad. And get a picture of the rear end.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
There we go.
It's not
Right there.
great.
All right, so this is why I dislike it so much. Look how it doesn't really flow with any of the other body lines. It's just like awkward, kind of like almost follows the trunk lid shape,
It's a
but
unibrow.
not quite. Yeah, it's way too thick for being LED. They had so much space. Look at this like huge black space at the top of the rear windshield that they could have easily put it in.
Right.
Like, there's so many other things they could have done with this, and they decided to put
Especially
it.
because this car was like one of the first production cars to have full LED taillights.
Yeah,
so
like-
they should have showcased it a little bit better.
Yeah, they really screwed the pooch on this one, and it is just awful. And that is without a doubt. It's like it's not even that it's like a particularly bad design.
Yeah.
Because like the 87 E30 is like
That's
really
really
truly the
terrible.
ugliest, but
Yeah.
this one is the most inexcusable.
Yeah, they have no reason.
There's
to do
no
this.
reason for it to be that bad, and that's why that ranks as the worst high mount brake light of all time.
Scott just mentioned cars that had aftermarket spoilers that added an optional third brake light, but they left the original one on and connected as well.
Oh,
so you
yes.
get 4 brake lights.
That's true, but however,
That's
you had to put that on for DOT compliance. Otherwise, it's a whole weird thing where in the early 2000s, when large aftermarket spoilers had those on, is this a big gray area?
Scott mentioned the G-Class convertible.
Really, that has a third mount brake light? That's what's sold in America. Well, I guess it'd be like a 2000s era one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they mounted it to the spare tire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's really dumb because that makes that spare tire incredibly difficult to remove.
There probably isn't a spare tire in there anymore. That is one of the worst photos I've ever seen in my entire life.
And that's fine because it's a terrible thing. It should be pixelated. What's the best taillight?
Best brake light? Actually, since I have the Google up anyway, I want
Yeah.
to start with the Silvia S15. It has a third brake light that's integrated into the spoiler, but it's a triangle, and I actually think it looks pretty cool.
You're
Finding a
you're
stock
just
one of
type in the
these.
word factory, like stock.
Oh, for God's sake. Yeah, this might be a fool's
Okay, there it
errand.
is, right there. Owner's club.
Yeah, I like this
see it.
orange one
Oh,
better.
yeah, that
Or
actually does look
yellow
really
one.
cool.
So, I don't know why I'm aware of this car, and it's factory brake light, but yeah, I actually think this third brake light's
Because
super cool.
I couldn't even think about that. So you should also state that it is I think it's called the Spec R. Is that trim level?
Could be.
It's not on all the S15s. It's on that particular trim level.
Gotcha. Well, this particular trim level here, I
with
like
the
this triangular.
with the
Yeah.
factory
It's-
spoiler. That looks
It's
really good.
cute.
That
It's
is
a
cute.
nod to the whale.
Especially because, like, also seeing one of these that isn't just completely brutalized and mutilated is odd.
Yeah, that's really weird. Because
And
like
then-
I usually expect seeing a S13 rear end whenever I see a S15.
My second choice is the Tesla Model S because
That
they
one-
integrated this one really, really well.
Yeah, that one looks great, and the Audi A7 actually
Yep.
did that as well.
And they've got, I think that the new A5 cab, I think actually does a pretty okay job too, because they have like the full width brake light, but it actually sits right below where the top and the tonneau meet.
Ooh,
And like you can't see it unless it's
that's
on.
pretty cool.
But yeah. Oh wow, wow.
What did you do?
This trackpad thing completely blows chunks. So
Yeah, that's true. So
what about your favorites?
my
This is
favorite,
the S.
I'm actually gonna have to go with. I went with the A7 initially, and
Okay.
then A7 is too similar to the Model S. So I wanted to look at cars that were that first era that did it really well, and I think that the '86 MR2 with the spoiler did
Okay.
a surprisingly good job.
Is that the same as the 88 supercharger spoiler? Or
No, totally different because the '88 Supercharger was perfect because that one was an LED strip and it looks great. But the '86 MR2
This is gonna be tough to find a back shot of
It
the
j-
spoiler.
right there.
There it is.
in a junkyard.
In a junkyard.
But they did it with an incandescent bulb, and they actually worked that in pretty decently.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, it doesn't look bad. However, this one came to mind actually when I was looking at pictures of this because I saw a picture with that and this car behind it, or in front of it rather. The third generation Trans Am high mount brake light.
Give me 1 second. Scott sent me a link. Your link is bad, and you should feel bad. Oh wow! Look at that. That's pretty terrible. It's a metal bar that swoops up behind the spare tire, and it's got a vacuum
That
cleaner
looks like a
attachment full
toilet
of
paper
LEDs.
holder.
That's really bad. What F body?
Yeah, just type in '88 Trans Am. Then images, and you'll find a picture of it. Because they fit in right there. Incandescent bulbs, and that looks perfect on that car.
Yeah, it looks like it should be. If you took that out, it would look worse, I think.
Yeah, and that was the...
I didn't do image
God.
location.
So
Can
it's...
we bring back the internet age where you could just go to Google Images and find the damn image?
It works in Chrome,
I don't want to use Chrome. Chrome sucks.
as
There.
you're complaining about a different one. But yeah, anyway.
Chrome is
so,
a resource hog. It's not worth using.
That is true, because my computers are twice as fast without Chrome on. But yeah, so that's what they look like. And honestly, if you look at those before the taillight and after the taillight, it looks better with the taillight on. It just makes sense. So that one for sure is my winner because they got caught with their pants down. They did not see it coming.
What should we do?
And they just made it
How about we
work.
knock it out of the park?
Yeah, they just made it work, and it looks great, and it looked better than the one before it.
Fair enough.
So
I think that works.
yeah,
I'm fine with that.
I think that one should be the overall winner, just because of what they had to deal with. Anyway, so I want to talk about. We were talking about how on aftermarket spoilers they had to deal with all the different emission stuff and everything.
Sure.
Not emissions, but DOT standards.
Yeah, in the past though they've had to deal with
Yeah,
emissions
so
and
all
crash
that,
bumpers and third brake lights.
all the
and
stuff
safety.
aftermarket companies have done. One of the aftermarket companies that really came out of that early 2000s era to really just kind of change the world was AEM, and they were a spin-off of Weber, of Holly Weber. And they were to do this like fledgling like fuel injection business.
Yep.
And they it was really an afterthought when they did it, and they turned out to be bigger. The owner of AEM actually bought the company from Weber, and he made his own company.
Nice.
Yeah, because
I thought
Weber
they were still owned by Weber. They're not?
No, they're not. They're their own entity now. But anyway, they just released a electric motor controller when they
Ooh.
were at PRI.
I love PRI.
And so I get it. Like electric motor controllers already exist. Like EV West has like a ton of
They
them.
do, and Bosch makes them and things
Yeah, like
that.
people make them. But see, this is the thing. People made standalone engine management in the early 2000s. You could get a Motec Systems, like standalone.
Get a Motec system exhaust.
Yeah. You can get their engine management system like in the early 2000s, and that
Right.
actually, a Motec Systems engine management from 2000 will totally stand up to an AEM Infinity today. But the thing is,
Yeah, it's like a Cybex today. I
yeah,
mean, it's,
but that's the thing is to get a Motec or a Cybex is like $10,000, but an AEM Infinity is like $1,000.
yeah, the
for, like, a good
Infinity
one.
is really good.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's-
it's very, very feature rich. I don't think they can run direct injection, but everything beyond that they can do.
It's a very, very good system. It's very robust, and you can make a lot of power.
Looking to see if they have any other
AEM
pictures. They don't.
AEM, I would say, is more responsible than anybody else in the world right now for making the fast front-wheel drive dragster, because they were the ones that made boost by gear and traction control and all that stuff actually functional for a drag racer, so that you can get these 7-second, 6-second Civics. in the world that are still running front-wheel drive on a stock chassis.
Well, basically uses exclusively AEM.
Yeah.
He's sponsored by that.
AEM Infinity.
We're using, actually an AEM Infinity engine management control system. With it, we're doing boost by gear.
And you can see that it perfectly controls the tachometer. But no, I'm really excited for them to make this EV controller.
Yeah, that's really, really cool.
Because this is a company that's a penchant for making things user-friendly and cheap. And I know that user-friendliness is not, like, your favorite thing. But, like...
I like it when it's attainable and it works.
Yeah, that's the thing, is...
It's like right now, if you go to Bosch and you want to buy a BMS and a motor controller, I'm like, yeah, it's cost prohibitive. You can't do it.
And yeah, that's the thing, is, like, this is going to make this attainable. It's going to make it so the average Joe can make it work. This, to EVs, I think is going to be the small block Chevy to hot rodding.
No, are they actually doing motors as well, or are they just giving us...
Just the controller.
controllers
But
so
the
we can
thing is, the
use.
controller works with like any sort of. Like, you can program it with whatever you want, really. So if you make a wiring harness, you can just make it happen.
I gotta do some more reading on this. I'm curious. Obviously, it works with AC synchronous motors, but I'd be curious to see if it works with variable reluctance inductance motors or like DC motors.
They do actually. If you scroll down, they do talk about they have a version for DC.
But I would imagine that this controller could do all of that
Yeah,
if it was
probably,
programmed to, and it doesn't matter because I mean a regular
Right there. So
induction AC motor.
includes an inverter controller, battery management, onboard controller, a DC converter, and more.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I really the longer time goes on, the more I want to EV swap something.
Yeah, me too. Like I actually, it's getting to a point where I think it'd be really cool. I'm starting looking at some of my cars. Like my Subaru would be so cool with the EV swap.
Maybe I should stop planning a flathead build and just.
No, dude, you have to do the flathead build. that has to be.
You gotta drive it outside of back to the 50s and confuse it.
Yeah, you have to have your flathead build be like your final like.
The last hurrah of
the
combustion.
last hurrah of combustion as you go back to the start. But anyway, like I think
That'll
that
be the
this
K24 and Brexit.
this is gonna be the the flathead swap for EVs where like the flathead.
You mean the small block?
Well, sorry, I know. I'm thinking more. It's actually gonna be more like a flathead, where, like in that era, that
Just
was
the innovator, you mean? Like
that was the thing that made an affordable V8 a thing that
Sure.
you could put
Okay.
into anything you want. Because previously, if you wanted to put in an engine swap, you either go with a 4-cylinder, or you're
Or
doing
like
a
a
straight
Bolt
8,
6
or
or
you
something
had
like
you had
that.
some really like stupid like gigantic like 20-liter V8 out of like a 1908 Oldsmobile.
or a 28-liter engine out of a dirigible.
Yes, or you get a dirigible engine, you have to make an entire chassis yourself. But, like, that's the thing. Those are all kind of ridiculous. Better, but ridiculous. So, yeah, this is going to be a thing where this is going to allow, you know, Cletus in Alabama to throw an EV swap into his whatever.
Bald Eagle.
His Bald Eagle American
Express.
Gen 4 Firebird that his, like, dad was
mean-
working on before he left and got smokes and never came back.
I don't watch their videos very much, but I did see a thumbnail from Cletus McFarlane. This is a little bit of a tangent, so sorry. Last week, they got shipped a couple of those Bosch Magneti Marelli electric-assisted turbochargers.
Oh, cool.
And they're actually using those in one of their, I think they're using it on a Caprice PPV build, which is
That's
odd.
hilarious.
But, I mean, they're going to have to
would-
get familiar with high-voltage electronics to make that work, and I bet you we're going to see EV stuff out of them at some point, too.
That'll be great.
So-
Well, actually, what I'm curious, they should have done that on some sort of small displacement overbuilt engine, like a Geo Metro 3-cylinder.
Oh, yes.
Where it's like an unkillable engine, and you just the bigger the turbocharger, the more power you make, and that's
If you can spool it, it
it'll
will go.
It'll hold it. Yeah. So like that 5,500 horsepower turbo that Precision came out with at PRI, like
Mm-hmm.
that with electric assist, and you just put it on like a stock 2JZ.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like
Perfect.
What is the limit of the 2JZ? We'll find out
Well,
now.
like, what about like a D-stroked B16 or something like that? Like, make a 1.3 liter B.
What that's an open block, so you know what we know why the B series fails. And it's the top. It's the top half of the
Right, but I'm
of the
saying like
cylinders crack.
spooling a turbo with a
Oh,
tiny displacement
Yeah.
4-cylinder.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like spooling a turbo, like a turbo that's way bigger than that vehicle should ever be able to spool.
Yes.
So, or
Yes.
like DSM, like a
curious to see-
4G63 could.
Yeah.
Be
Oh
another
yeah.
one.
Yep.
But like yeah, find an engine that doesn't fail from failure. Volvo B series. That one.
The red block?
The red block. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool to see because that one does not fail from any amount. That fails from
I like this.
like just grenading from people like dropping a valve. But yeah, this is gonna be really cool. I'm really excited for this. They're gonna build really cool stuff with it, and I'm just
Yeah, I hate reading, and I think I want to read about this to see, especially how they handle battery management and charging.
so. A lot of people. Yes, honey?
If you hate reading, I have a Chrome extension that reads web pages to me. If you
Does
want
it
to
sound decent, and did they make it for
Yes.
Firefox?
I don't know. but
Yes
they
and
have
maybe.
They have
Okay.
a website too.
Okay, fair enough. No, I mean, I can do it when it's context stuff that I enjoy, but I just, yeah.
This is like the kryptonite of everybody saying that the death of the internal combustion engine is the death of hot rodding.
No, because anyone that says that just hasn't spent enough time with an electric motor.
Yeah, that's entirely true.
It's like
But
they're
it's
really
the same,
good.
It's
I
the
mean,
same people that said fuel injection was the end, and the same people that
It's
said
never
that,
going to fully replace it.
No,
It just won't.
It
So if you don't
won't.
like it, just don't use it. But like, you'll like it.
you're gonna be really happy with
You're
it.
gonna have both. I mean,
Yeah, you're gonna. I don't think that internal combustion engines will be a gasoline powered thing. Maybe like a hydrogen, like a
Yeah.
HOO swap eventually.
well, once we get good enough at producing just copious amounts, like unusable amounts of clean energy, like we can afford to take the hit making
Yeah,
like hydrogen
And-
or like extracting it.
and I think that's that's what's going to be the savior of the internal combustion engine is HOO gas. But
Me too.
like this, I think is the future of hot rodding because the HOO stuff, like that's gonna be ridiculous. Like that's like
Right,
people.
but it'll keep the Lamborghinis going while
Yeah.
we drive EVs.
Yeah, but that's the thing is the EV swap. This is going to be the new V8, and we know that it's a blast to drive.
Oh yeah,
Like
it's great.
it's one of those things where yeah, you can have a lot of fun making a bunch of noise with the internal combustion engine, or you can have just the sound of gearbox and like rubber fighting to stay together.
Yeah.
While you actually go quickly.
Like I've never heard tires like in pain before I owned an electric car because you always hear the engine over that.
No, you never
But, like,
actually hear just the
You
tires.
just like
yeah.
you roll into the accelerator on my car and all you hear is of like the tire tread blocks leaning over. I'm just like,
Oh yeah, no, it's
Funny.
It sounds like a faster version of the road noise you get from
Yes.
like a big mud truck.
Yep.
But
And it varies with like throttle pressure, and then it goes, anyway, it doesn't matter. But
no, it's a cool sound in of itself. Like that's
it's very different. I like them both. There you go.
it is a very different thing. So anyway, internal combustion engines are on the way out. I still love them, but you know it's just the facts of life.
Fair enough.
Yeah, just like steam engines are cool.
I mean, something has to. That's true.
That is true. We still love the Stanley Steamer.
Well, I mean, something inevitably has to replace the Chevy small block at some point in time, so
But
it may as well be an electric
Until
motor.
then, GM's gonna keep putting it into trucks.
Yep, and I actually want to talk about that, even though it's not refreshing. So this is a story I took from Autoblog. A bunch of other news outlets covered this too, but the new generation of Chevy Tahoe and Suburban and associated counterparts from GMC have finally been announced.
I wish they weren't.
And
that
there's
looks
a
bad.
couple things though. It looks really dumb, just like their modern pickup trucks do.
What? All right, one second. Go down to this interior picture
on,
before
I gotta
no,
show
no,
people
no.
the outside.
No, go down to this interior picture while this outside photo's loading.
Okay.
Why on earth does that need that kind of screen when this truck is so freaking big? You can put a 50-inch television on that dashboard and not have to make it stick up.
Well, it's because everyone wants a trapezoid screen.
Yeah, because
You can make
awesome.
you can make a trapezoid screen fit right in there. Like there's
That
so
is a
much,
trapezoid screen.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to stick up. It can just be integrated into the
I have a
dash.
problem with fixed mounted screens. Everything that's got a screen in it needs to be able to be hidden. Because in 10, 15 years' time, when that thing's completely obsolete and probably broken,
Yeah.
I want to hide it.
Well,
Yeah,
that's the thing
that's
is that doesn't look like it moves.
No, it is a fixed mount.
Yeah, there's a fixed mount stick up in the air screen.
So that's pretty dumb. I don't know if I hate it more than what they did before, but it's okay. This is not an attractive looking vehicle,
the outside's really
just
bad.
right off the bat. But
Oh.
do you want to know what's potentially a little interesting about this?
I kind of like the headlights.
GM has been making the Suburban kind of, for 70 years.
Yes.
Oh,
It has
wow,
always
that's
been a stick
true.
axle on the back.
Yes.
Now it isn't.
Yeah.
Now these are independent suspension.
I
So
know.
Hot rodding, you're going to be able to get really strong independent rear suspension and diffs out of these in junkyards.
You already could.
Well, yeah, 4 to 8/8s.
4 to 8/8,
But they don't make those anymore. Like, the supply is going to dry up at some point. So modern, really cheap American IRS is going to be a good thing to have kicking around.
that'll be a good thing.
4-corner air suspension instead of just rear air ride.
Ooh, so they
So in 15 years, these are going to be dragging on the bump stops through the ghetto.
yeah. So what they did is they made a Touareg. They made a Touareg.
No, what they did
10
is they
years
made
later.
a 2004 Expedition.
No, it's a Touareg.
It should be more reliable than that.
I know.
Yeah.
The Cadillac XLR says otherwise.
Oh,
GM
shot.
GM is capable of making. That's not an RC shot. That's just a picture of somebody walking up to the vehicle.
Trying to figure out where the button is to open the lift
Yeah,
gate.
like that's just how big the vehicle is. That's a standing up next to the vehicle shot.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about this because of the independent suspension, because that's a really big departure.
Yeah,
for
no,
GM
the
on their bread
independent
and
rear
butter.
suspension is not a good thing for this truck, but is a great thing for people putting independent rear suspension into other vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
No,
And trapezoid screens.
yes, and trapezoid screens.
I'm glad
looks
people
really
are
dumb.
embracing the
Yeah.
trapezoid.
Good thing they put quad exhausts on the Mommy Mobile.
Yeah. So, oh my God.
The
Mom
old one
wants
has a
to
single
vroom,
exhaust
vroom.
for the same engine. It seems fine.
Anyway, I want to talk about something.
Oh yeah.
else.
Also, they are putting a diesel powertrain.
I want to talk about an American. Oh, that's actually cool.
It is cool.
That's
It's
very cool.
it's a 6-cylinder inline diesel.
That's actually
It's
extremely
really
cool.
Yeah.
Is that still Duramax?
It's a Duramax.
Perfect.
Yeah,
So it just
not
means
a
that
Cummins.
it means to say that Cummins has been correct from the start.
Yep.
with-
I think so. Yeah, 3-liter Duramax turbo diesel. Yep.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
All right. I'm
that's-
actually
that's
really
pretty
happy
neat.
about that.
Yeah. So that's pretty
Anyway,
neat.
I want to talk about Ford's SUV. I'm
Okay.
sorry, I forgot to turn off my ringer.
That's fine.
Because let's see here.
Here's the link. Okay.
Ford has made the Ford Explorer, and as we all know, the 2020 Ford Explorer is a dumpster fire of a vehicle.
But
Right.
it is rear-wheel drive.
It's also really giant, right? And giant
it's terrible.
means more safer.
Also, they asphyxiate our officers of the law.
So, no, that's the
That's the outgoing one.
that's the outgoing one, yeah. And it wasn't the Explorer. That was the.
That was the Explorer.
Oh, was the Explorer?
Yep.
Yeah, it was this one. Yeah.
Have you ever noticed on like 2016 where they went from straight out exhaust to the turn down exhausts? That's why. There was a year where they still had the bumper cutouts and they had the turn down mufflers before they just filled in the bumper cutouts. It's really hilarious.
So, this is the issue with this.
Okay.
They just redesigned this vehicle.
It's an all new platform.
It's a completely all new platform.
Mm-hmm.
Ford has had all of the collective resources of Ford to make their SUV be good, right?
Sure.
And it's an SUV. So an SUV, if you stop right here, needs to be good at being safe,
Well-
because that's how you sell a crossover.
Well, that's
big
why
and safe.
idiots buy the damn things.
This one isn't.
Okay, what does it fail in? Is it the small front overlap?
Of course, yes. Particularly your feet. It breaks both of your ankles when you get into a small front overlap. The front wheel goes into your foot.
Have fun hobbling out of that thing.
Yeah. So this is the thing. This is graded on the same scale as it's a light truck, not like a big truck. It's graded on the same scale as a Mitsubishi Mirage, a car that's notoriously unsafe
Okay.
per whoever the hell says that. This is the thing, though.
Probably Doug.
The Mitsubishi Mirage fails in leg protection.
Okay.
It is also able to fit within the wheelbase. Bumper to bumper can fit in the wheelbase of this truck.
Okay.
And it also is built not for this country, and it is built for crash standards not made in this country.
And for probably like one generation prior too.
Yeah, like this is made for Thailand crash tests in like 2008.
Does the Mirage also break both of your ankles?
One.
Just one?
Yes.
So you can
So-
get out then.
You can, yeah, terribly, but you will be crippled, potentially. But this is the thing, though.
You don't in the Fiat.
Yeah, well, the thing is, with the Mirage failing, it doesn't fail as bad as this one does. And
Can
this
we watch
was
this?
was made. Yeah, we totally can. Just turn off the sound. This was made for our country. Like, this wasn't made for Thailand. This was made to pass this test.
Yeah.
And they shit the bed on it.
Yeah, like these standards aren't new this year.
No, this has been around for a while, and this is after they already.
They just updated them.
But no, this is after they already redesigned it once because it failed so many crash tests.
The Explorer?
Yeah, this is the second complete redesign of the chassis of the
I gotta
vehicle.
say, this A-pillar held up really well, but yeah, clearly they're doing something wrong down
Well,
here.
yeah, the A-pillar is not the problem.
Right.
It's your feet,
Right.
which you
Did they make
need.
the pedals out of steel again? Like
No, it's because the whole front suspension comes into the footwell.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's just what I want.
Whereas, like with the Mirage, it's the A-pillar that fails, and that the A-pillar is designed to take a hit from the top, not from the small overlap.
Right.
So, like Mitsubishi straight up got caught with their pants down. This one, Ford tried and failed on their bread and butter vehicle because they don't make cars anymore.
Nope.
They make this,
Yep.
and this isn't safe. So this is further proof that Jim Hackett has no business being in the automotive industry at all. Like, he needs to not work. He needs to go find a hotel to work at. Because they don't crash test hotels.
Well, we could.
God, what? I'm flabbergasted by this because everybody talks they throw all the shade at the little Mirage, and that car does better being not made for our market
Let's watch the Mirage.
than anything America can make.
And this is a 2014 Mirage.
Yeah, this is designed, same crash test, same speed, and it was designed before this test even existed.
That looks fine. Look, the windshield didn't even break on it.
Yeah. Like, that's...
It broke on the Exploder.
yeah. Like,
That looks pretty good.
it does. You're right. That looks a hell of a lot better than the Exploder. So, if you want a safe family vehicle, Carbitrage top tip,
Get a Mirage.
buy a Mirage, because that's safer than an Explorer.
There.
There's just literally a fact that it is safer than the new Explorer.
Well, I mean, we won't turn down any opportunity to plug a Mirage.
That-
So
yeah.
especially one that comes up as pink on the NHTSA website. Like, come on, really?
That's the best part.
Like,
They
you
use-
didn't even.
It's plasma purple.
Plasma purple.
I love that they used like the two best colors, the plasma purple and the green.
The-
Like, they did not do a silver one. They did
No,
the
they
best
just took
colors.
two random ones off the line and shipped them to NHTSA. Like, here you go.
And they were fun colors, yes.
I know. That's pretty great. I want to talk about the antithesis of fun, which is German cars, which is Porsche, which is the Marisk's little brother, the Taycan 4S. Remember when the e-tron Audi got announced and they brought out all the figures about acceleration and capacity and range and everything?
Huh.
And they got a 90 kilowatt hour battery to do 200 miles?
Okay.
Hey, the Porsche Taycan 4S did the same thing in a car.
With
Massive battery, like 90 kilowatt hours, and it will do 201 miles. For reference, my shitty poverty Tesla Model S
I
with
honestly,
a 70
I thought that was
will do
because
more
of
than
drag
this.
on that giant truck. Or
Yeah,
clearly,
clearly, VAG. We predicted this. VAG will find a way to ruin electric cars.
Oh, yeah.
and they've done it.
Yep. They've never made a good product ever.
No,
They literally never have. And trust me, I got VAG products I like, but they are not good. They've never made a good car. They never will make a good car. And no matter how much money you spend on a VAG, you will never, ever get a good vehicle.
shopping for a
They're
VAG
all
car
trash.
is like looking into politics. It's always going to be a lesser of evils.
It really is. No, it's you have this, which is like I don't even know who this would be. Yeah, no. Who do you want? Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump or like Joseph Stalin? Like those are your options.
I was going to go for Pol Pot.
Yeah, you have Pol Pot. Pol Pot. You see that's the diesel Passat. Then.
Oh, right. It's always breaking those CB shafts.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's
But
really
anyway,
dumb.
they list efficiencies here, and I'll sort of set the stage. So I mean, the Model S I drive is pretty old now in modern vehicle considerations. It doesn't have the most
What's your
efficient
range?
motors. It's EPA rated at 240, and it's got a battery that is 30% smaller than this. I realistically get 200 miles out of my car with a substantially smaller battery. But anyway, I want
And
to
you
talk
also
about the
you
efficiencies.
drive it like a maniac.
I
as
do,
well.
which is what I really want to get into, because even driving like a bag of dildos in the winter, I get better efficiency numbers than this. So they're claiming a combined 488 watt hours per mile. So I'll set the stage for you. I only see efficiencies worse than that when it's below zero outside and I'm doing shorter-ish trips.
And again,
in the
driving like a
summer,
maniac.
driving like me, I do about 340 watt-hours a mile, which is about 30% more
and
efficient.
this is on an eco trip.
And it's a brand new vehicle.
It's a brand new
with a brand
vehicle.
new 800-volt system that's supposed to be efficient.
And they're going on an eco trip with this. They're doing everything they can to do well. Whereas you're going out of your way to drive like an absolute dick.
Yeah, a green person could get 240 miles out of my car.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
But somebody could.
Not you.
But either way, like the city efficiency is just mind-boggling. Like does this car not have regenerative braking? Because it's worse than the highway range, and in EVs that never happens.
That is shocking.
Because you're recovering like 40% of the energy that you're spending. When you accelerate, you slow back down
You
again.
can probably pay for regenerative braking.
It's probably an option.
It's probably an option.
And it's going to have Porsche, and it's going to be like PRBS, like Porsche Regenerative Braking System. PERBS is going to be 40 grand.
You're going to be perturbed.
I like that.
So yeah, if you're going to order a Taycan 4S, make sure you get the 40 grand PERBS option.
Yeah, really, that's so serious. Or what you should do, make sure you get therapy and don't. Because you just shouldn't. That car sucks.
I want to like the Taycan because it looks pretty
I don't.
okay, and it's a Porsche. But
I don't. I don't like Porsche.
It has given us no reason to like it.
Porsche has gone out of their way for the last decade to make me hate them.
It's so bad.
Like,
I don't get it.
Porsches, they were like doing really well, like for a while. Like when the Cayman came out, I think that was the peak of modern Porsche. Like the first like couple of years after the Cayman came
Like
out,
05 or something like that.
Yeah, like 05 to like 2009, like right before the recession was the peak of Porsche.
Okay.
But yeah, now they're just like they're
Yeah,
really
you're
they're
probably
phoning it
right.
in. They're just
'Cause that's
totally
when
phoning
they
it in.
made the Cayenne GTS 6-speed. They made the regular Cayenne 6-speed.
Yep.
They just came out with the Cayman.
Yep.
They updated the Boxster with the bigger S 3.4 motor.
Yep.
Arguably the 997, I guess. It was a good car.
I like the 997.
997 is
The
great, but
997
it is
front end looks a lot better.
overblown. It's all very subjective, but it's a little bit better car for a lot more money.
Yeah,
than it's
that's
outgoing.
the thing. But I mean, like at that point in time,
Right.
like the 997, like
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
fixed
Still
the
a great car.
996 is god awful headlights. Like it is, that was a much better car. But yeah, no, that was the peak of Porsche. It was like 2000. Like if you bought a Porsche in 2008, you
That was
could
before
sleep.
the Panamera too, right?
Yes,
I
right
think
before
so.
the Panamera.
Yeah.
Like you could rest easy knowing that you got Porsche at the best time to buy a brand new Porsche
You had
because
a
you
flat
got the
six,
best
you had hydraulic
possible
steering,
vehicle.
you had
Yeah.
all that good stuff.
It was
Limited
a-
slip differentials that
Yeah.
were actually limited slip differentials.
You got a real vehicle.
Yep.
Now you can't. Anyway, speaking of Tesla,
Jeez.
did you see that Elon Musk he daily drives the Cybertruck?
Yeah, I think there's only one in existence, but I have seen a few clips of that.
Yeah, there is, and he just drives it everywhere. Anyway, he's the only thing that can stop it apparently is a traffic pylon, because he drove over one. Well, actually, I didn't even stop him. He just straight up crashed into one, leaving a Japanese
Like one of
restaurant.
those concrete bollard things?
It was a plastic one.
Oh, okay.
But it's just a sign of how bad like everything is on it. And I love this in this GIF that Gizmodo made. He didn't even like give a shit. Didn't stop or anything. Like he just
Oh,
kept
it's like
going.
a valet sign or something like that. Big
That-
deal.
It looks like a pedestrian crossing sign.
It's a pedestrian crossing sign. and
Whatever.
Those have a metal insert inside of them. So it did a pretty good job taking that out. But no, I love the fact that he actually just drives this everywhere, and like people like see him like out in public.
I'm surprised that that's street legal, but
It is. There's a weird loophole that allows him to do that.
I'm sure it's got
I'm sure it's
manufacturer
got
plates
dually-
on
oh,
it. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
manufactured.
And my favorite part is if you zoom in on it, it's actually a right turn only sign.
Oh, really?
And he's taking a left. He's
You
taking
can
a left.
actually see that,
But
yeah.
if you look, he's taking a left when he doesn't have right of way.
And yeah, a green light for the other people. What the hell? All right, so we need to mail Elon Musk a ticket for breaking the traffic laws.
I love Elon Musk because he doesn't give a shit. Like
What the hell, man?
he is. This was like actually living with like Tesla in like 1925.
Well, I mean, that's
No,
that's
Tesla was a
perpetuating.
He was a good person, but he's an
madman,
absolute madman, and I.
But doing stuff like that publicly, it just perpetuates the dickish how people feel about EV owners essentially.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, it's not too bad what he did,
no,
Like I've probably knocked over like
EV
cones
owners,
and things like that.
to be honest, there's a lot of really cool EV owners, but there's a very substantial amount of douches.
Oh, yeah.
in, like the EV world, like just a lot of them.
And honestly, that's probably one of the better segues we've had between stories. So I want to talk about people icing chargers,
Yeah,
which means internal combustion engine-ing a charger, which means you've parked a fueled vehicle in a charger. Happens all the time. Which you just deal with it. It's
Did
whatever.
you hear about the guy in the Mustang that got arrested because he was icing a guy who was charging his Tesla, and he hit the guy's Tesla while he's doing donuts around the EV station. Of course, being a Mustang,
I saw a video on
catches
this, yeah.
traction and hits the Tesla.
Well, he hit the charger, and I think it knocked the charger.
Yeah,
into
that's
the
what I was
Tesla or
sorry.
something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
but he damaged the dude's Tesla.
What an idiot. But I don't know if he's any worse than these Tesla owners who, in Europe, they got their entire local little Tesla Circle Jerk Dutch Rudder group, and they took an entire gas station and blocked all of the pumps. I'm like, dude, you're just hurting that business owner. You're not hurting anyone else. Like, oh, shucks, they're blocking the pump. I guess I'll drive a quarter of a mile down the road to another fuel station.
Yeah, no, that's not like. It's one thing to block a Tesla supercharger because that's like
Right.
the only one nearby.
Right. I'm like, I can't make it to another one, probably.
But
if I'm
you
there.
can easily make it another quarter of a mile to another gas station. So
Yeah, very rare circumstances where a gas station's that far away where you can't.
all this does is just make them look like a dick and make small business owners save
It's
them.
like the people
Right.
that park in front of the gas pumps when they want to just go inside for a snack.
Yeah, I mean, if the gas
I'm not
station's
gonna lie,
pretty
I
low
do that.
traffic, I do that with my car.
Well, like, I mean, like when it's the only pump open.
Well, yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. No.
I mean,
But a lot of gas stations
everyone
are
parks at a
pretty
pump.
empty, so.
But yeah, this is just wow. What hot trash, bunch of idiots,
Yeah.
and it's in Croatia. Thanks, Croatia.
Thanks, Croatia.
You suck.
At a unknown branded
Tesla
gas
Motors
station.
Club,
but-
Croatia.
Well, I mean, it turns out it was e-golfs and EVs and i3s and Teslas, but still,
And looks
EVs.
like there's a
EV owner
there's a
club
Smart that was in
being a
there.
dick.
Yeah.
So don't do that. It just makes you look a bit of a toss.
Well, you know what's gonna be really funny is like when one of them runs out of gas or runs out of electricity and then they have to charge their vehicle, and the guy's like, "No, screw you."
Let me fill up my generator at your gas pump
Yeah, no, it's
and then charge my EV.
that's dumb.
Yep,
Well,
don't do that. I need to reiterate, don't be a dick.
yeah, let's not be a dick.
Be
so what
nice to other people.
exactly? What did we learn this?
Oh, I'll go for this week. That laptop prefers being off the entire week
This
and then
one?
turn back on. Mm-hmm.
That's actually something that we learned. It does
learned.
it
Well,
actually gets tired.
I think Jana might have known that already, but I did not know that. So
Jana,
I
what'd you
learned
learn?
What did I learn? I've been stooped with finals and so I didn't learn this, but I'm really proud. So this Wednesday, because the holiday season, we had a impromptu holiday concert. We decided 2 weeks in advance that we were going to do
Okay.
at work, and the
Sounds
toddlers
like plenty of prep time.
and the preschoolers did a great job. Only one person cried, and they didn't even cry on stage. They cried before
Was
they
it
got
you?
on stage. No.
Oh, well, that's good.
And, the toddlers went up there, and usually toddlers get confused and scared
Sure.
and,
I
freeze
still do,
up.
yeah.
But they were really quiet during the practices, but when the performance came, they did a great job. And somebody showed us a video because, when you're a teacher and your kids are on stage, you're just making sure that they don't fall off.
Well, yeah.
Or,
Like, no
nothing
harm
terrible
befalls them,
happens.
essentially.
And so you don't understand if they're doing a good job or whatever. You're just
They're just yelling.
eagle eyes, and a few parents showed us videos and we all teared up because they did such a good job. And it was adorable. But now I've got hippopotamus for Christmas stuck in my head.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, damn it. Now it's in my head.
It's
So
you're welcome, world.
really happy I don't know that song.
Oh
So-
yeah, I also learned that.
Whoa, two?
Whoa!
What is, how about you save it for next week?
Well, it has to do with Christmas.
All right.
Fine.
Ryan didn't know what White Christmas was. And
Oh,
I
that's true. I
really
didn't.
shook.
I still don't know.
You mean the movie?
The movie and the song. He didn't know it was a
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
I didn't know it.
Well, I mean, he was Jewish.
Yeah.
But I forgot that.
I don't know Hanukkah songs either.
Yeah. Anyway,
There's
so
two.
I was helping Jana with some homework,
Okay.
And of course, me being on Wikipedia trying to help her answer questions, I went on a tangent and I realized I didn't really know enough about South American indigenous peoples. And so I started looking into the Paracas culture, which is the predecessor to the Nazca.
Okay.
And the Paracas were actually really interesting because usually like a lot of cultures in like Olmec era, so like pre-Incan, pre-Mayan times, they lived in their area. They lived on a mountain or they lived by the ocean, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
For the
I don't
most
know
part.
enough about
For the most
cultures.
Yeah,
and-
in that era.
They weren't very expansive.
Yeah, exactly. In that era and in
compared
that
to the
area,
Maya and the Aztec.
this is actually the only culture in this area.
Did you just say culture?
Culture.
Like Kolsch?
Yeah.
Culture?
Yeah.
Culture?
This is
He's
only
talking about bacteria.
yeah.
Very
this,
nice.
This is the only culture that at this time in South America expanded from mountaintops to the sea, because they were buried both with bones of food from mountaintop animals and from fish at the same time. So I thought it was really interesting. And there you go. That is a
Yes.
Jana fact coming from Ryan.
Yeah,
gonna say,
I'm
we get-
actually really surprised you're able to find information like that because it's really hard to even get information not in Spanish on the Aztec and the Maya.
So the Paracas, they're the only thing that they know about them is from like a handful of sites, and they're all these necropolises, like
Yeah.
giant cemeteries, and that's where they kind of know everything about the culture from. And that was that one where there's that cool
I think
flying
we
dude
went
that I
to
showed
a
you.
lecture on that
No, this is
a while ago.
that cool looking flying guy that I showed you.
It's all it's a
Oh,
picture
man,
done
he
in
looks
very
super
Ryan
wasted.
colors.
Yeah, and it's pretty
It's
wild.
very 80s.
The
The
by the way,
80s
that,
were inspired by that. Picture.
yes. So there we go. That's what I learned. Now,
Fair enough.
Ryan Rask, you're a little bit more of a nerd today. So thank you for listening, and listen next week.
We'll catch you guys on Saturday.
Bye.
Thanks.